Perhaps the most profound lesson is that resistance not only shapes us individually, but also collectively. Communities faced unprecedented challenges, yet through this shared resistance, they found ways to grow together. Acts of kindness, solidarity, and innovation flourished in the face of adversity, proving that even in the hardest times, humanity's potential for growth is boundless. In the end, this year reminded us that resistance isn't the enemy, it's a catalyst. It's the pressure that creates diamonds, the struggle that builds strength, and the challenge that propels us to become our best selves. Growth through resistance isn't easy, but it's what transforms adversity into triumph. Amid the trials and tribulations of this year, stories of triumph emerged as powerful beacons of hope and inspiration. These weren't necessarily grand tales of sweeping victories or monumental achievements. Often, they were small, quiet moments of perseverance, kindness, and innovation. Proof that even in the darkest times, the human spirit remains indomitable. Everywhere, people faced extraordinary challenges with courage and determination. Parents turned homes into makeshift schools, balancing the demands of work and family with creativity and patience. Teachers adapted overnight to new technologies, ensuring their students continued to learn despite the upheaval. Small business owners, faced with closures and financial strain, found new ways to reach their customers and keep their dreams alive. Healthcare workers stood at the front lines of a relentless battle, embodying the very essence of selflessness and resilience. Day after day, they confronted exhaustion, fear, and loss, yet they kept going, saving lives, offering comfort, and showing what true dedication looks like. But triumph wasn't confined to acts of heroism, it was also found in the everyday moments of humanity. A neighbor delivering groceries to someone in need, a stranger donating to a struggling family, friends checking in on each other, even from a distance, offering a listening ear and a comforting word. These simple, often unseen gestures form the fabric of triumph this year, reminding us that small acts of kindness can have a profound impact. The triumphs also came in the form of innovation and creativity. Artists found new ways to share their work, bringing joy and solace to others. Communities came together to address local needs, creating networks of support that strengthened bonds. People turned to technology, not just for work or learning, but to maintain connections with loved ones, proving that even physical distance couldn't sever the ties that bind us. In every story of triumph, there was a common thread: the refusal to give up. Despite the weight of adversity, people rose to the occasion, finding strength within themselves and each other. These stories remind us that triumph isn't about avoiding difficulty. It's about facing it head-on and emerging stronger, more compassionate, and more united. This year tested us in unimaginable ways, but these stories of triumph proved that even in the hardest times, there is light. They showed us that no matter how overwhelming the challenges, the human spirit has an extraordinary capacity to overcome, to adapt, and to thrive. This year underscored the power of perspective, a force that can transform even the most daunting challenges into opportunities for growth and gratitude. While the circumstances we faced were far from ideal, how we chose to view them made all the difference. The year served as a powerful reminder that perspective is not just about what we see, it's about how we interpret and respond to what we see. The struggles and disruptions pushed many to shift their focus from what was lost to what could still be gained. For some, it was the realization that slowing down could bring unexpected blessings. The absence of the usual hustle and bustle made room for deeper connections with family, quiet moments of reflection, and the opportunity to rediscover passions that had been sidelined by the busyness of life. Instead of lamenting what couldn't be controlled, many chose to focus on what they could control: their mindset, their actions, and their ability to find joy in the small things. Perspective also taught us the value of resilience and adaptability. While the year was filled with uncertainty, it showed us that our ability to adapt is rooted in how we choose to perceive change. Challenges that initially seemed insurmountable became opportunities to learn and grow. People began to see setbacks not as failures, but as detours leading to new paths. This shift in perspective transformed fear into courage. Perspective transforms life emotionally and religiously motivates us to continue to mature into growth. People begin to see setbacks not as challenges, but as different forms of links. They differ in the symbolic senses of connecting with distant Gratitude became another cornerstone of perspective. In the face of loss and hardship, even the simplest things, a meal shared, a conversation with a loved one, a moment of quiet peace, became sources of immense joy and appreciation. Perspective reminded us to cherish what we often take for granted: health, relationships, and the beauty of the world around us. Furthermore, perspective expanded our empathy. As we faced our own struggles, we became more attuned to the struggles of others. We learned to look beyond ourselves and see the world through a lens of compassion. This broadened perspective united us, fostering a sense of solidarity and shared humanity that transcended differences. Ultimately, this year taught us that while we may not always choose our circumstances, we can always choose our perspective. By focusing on possibility rather than limitation, gratitude rather than loss, and hope rather than despair, we discovered the power to navigate life's storms with grace and courage. Perspective didn't just help us endure, it empowered us to rise above. This year taught us lessons we can carry forward for a lifetime, shaping not just how we respond to challenges, but how we live each day. The experiences of hardship, adaptation, and perseverance weren't just tests of character. They were profound learning opportunities that revealed the values and priorities that truly matter. As we move forward, these lessons serve as guiding principles to help us build stronger, more purposeful lives. One of the most enduring lessons was the importance of adaptability. The sudden disruptions forced us to rethink how we work, connect, and live. We learned that flexibility isn't just a skill, it's a survival tool. Plans changed, routines were upended, and traditions were altered. Yet we found ways to move forward. This ability to adapt reminded us that life is ever-changing, and our success often lies in how well we embrace the unexpected. Another powerful lesson was the value of connection. In a time when physical distancing became necessary, the significance of emotional closeness became clearer than ever. Whether it was a video call with a loved one, a thoughtful message, or a socially distant gathering, these moments of connection underscored how deeply we rely on one another. The year reminded us that relationships are not luxuries, they are lifelines. Gratitude emerged as a cornerstone lesson as well. Faced with loss and uncertainty, we were reminded to cherish the things we often overlook: health, family, a safe place to call home, and the everyday freedoms we once took for granted. Gratitude became a lens through which we could find joy and meaning, even in the simplest moments. We also learned the importance of self-care and mental health. The challenges of the year highlighted the need to prioritize our well-being, not as an indulgence, but as a necessity. Many discovered new ways to cope, whether through mindfulness, physical activity, creative pursuits, or seeking support from others. This focus on mental health has sparked a cultural shift, reminding us that caring for our minds is as vital as caring for our bodies. Finally, the year reinforced the power of community. In the face of adversity, people came together to support one another, whether through acts of kindness, mutual aid, or simply showing up for each other. These moments of solidarity reminded us that we are stronger together, and our collective action can create meaningful change. These lessons, adaptability, connection, gratitude, self-care, and community, are not just for difficult times. They are principles that can guide us in building a more resilient, compassionate, and intentional future. As we carry them forward, we honor the challenges of this year by ensuring that its struggles were not in vain, but instead the foundation of a bigger tomorrow. This year will be remembered not just as a time of trials and tribulations, but as a defining chapter in the story of our resilience. While it tested us in ways we never imagined, it also revealed our capacity to rise above, adapt, and emerge stronger. The legacy of this year is not one of defeat, but of strength, a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity when faced with adversity. The tests we faced, though daunting, forged resilience in the fire of challenge. Individually and collectively, we encountered moments that pushed us to our limits. Yet, even in the face of fear, uncertainty, and loss, we refused to crumble. Instead, we rose to meet each challenge, proving to ourselves and the world that we are capable of enduring far more than we once believed. This resilience wasn't just about survival, it was about thriving, despite the odds, and we feel meant to inspire and transform people of all ages into freshly prepared return to live a life of richness. For many, the year's trials became a catalyst for transformation. It compelled us to reflect, adapt, and grow in ways we might not have otherwise. Old ways of thinking were challenged, and new perspectives emerged. People discovered strengths within themselves they never knew existed, whether it was the courage to start over, the resourcefulness to solve unexpected problems, or the determination to keep going despite setbacks. Communities, too, demonstrated their collective strength. Amid the struggles, acts of kindness and solidarity became common. Neighbors helped one another, strangers became allies, and communities rallied together to support their most vulnerable members. These actions underscored a simple yet profound truth. When we come together, our collective strength can overcome even the most overwhelming challenges. This year also redefined what it means to achieve success. Triumph was no longer measured by material gains or accolades, but by the ability to persevere, to adapt, and to maintain hope. It was about finding joy in the small victories, making it through a tough day, supporting a loved one, or discovering a moment of peace in the chaos. These moments, though quiet, became the foundation of a larger, enduring legacy of strength. As we look back, this year will stand as a reminder that our struggles did not define us. Our response to them did. It was not the tests themselves, but our courage, compassion, and resilience that will be remembered. This year didn't just test us, it showed us what we are made of. And in doing so, it left behind a legacy of strength that will inspire us for years to come. In conclusion, this year tested us in unimaginable ways, but it also revealed our incredible resilience, adaptability, and strength. While the challenges were tough, they shaped us into stronger, more compassionate individuals and communities. The lessons we've learned and the triumphs we've experienced will carry us forward, reminding us that no matter the obstacles, we have the power to rise above and thrive. This was the year we thought we'd conquer, but instead were tested. The year when challenges were not optional and resilience wasn't just a virtue, it became our daily practice. For some of us, the tests came like tidal waves, sweeping away plans, goals, and even parts of our lives. For others, they crept in quietly, gnawing at our spirit, questioning our resolve. This year didn't just ask us who we are, it demanded to know what we are made of. But let me tell you something, we are still standing. What tested us most wasn't just the world's unpredictability, it was what happened within. Our patience was tested as we waited for answers that never came as quickly as we hoped. Our courage was tested as we faced fears we never imagined we'd confront. Our relationships were tested, revealing both their strengths and their cracks. But here's the beauty in all of it. Tests, no matter how hard, are not final, they are transformative. This year forced us to confront truths about ourselves. Were we living the life we wanted? Were our priorities aligned with our purpose? And most importantly, were we willing to grow? For some, the test was financial, the loss of stability, of jobs, of businesses. For others, it was emotional, the grief of losing loved ones, or the isolation that came from separation. Yet, in every test, there was also a spark of possibility. Here's the thing about being tested. It builds strength. Muscles grow stronger through resistance. Minds sharpen through challenge. There was also a story of triumph. The mother who worked 3 jobs to keep her family afloat. The student who adapted to a whole new way of learning. The healthcare worker who showed up day after day despite exhaustion. This year taught us that we are capable of more than we think. It taught us that every setback carries within it the seed of a comeback. It reminded us that life isn't about avoiding the storm, but about learning to dance in the rain. So, as we close this chapter and look toward what's ahead, let's not just leave this year behind. Let's take its lessons with us. Let's honor the strength it uncovered in us. Let's celebrate the small victories that made the big ones possible. Because when we look back, this won't just be remembered as the year that tested us all. It will also be remembered as the year we rose above it all. This year brought challenges that spared no one. From individuals to families, communities to nations, everyone felt the weight of the unexpected. For some, the trials were deeply personal. Job losses, health struggles, or the grief of losing loved ones. For others, the difficulties were broader, tied to a world grappling with uncertainty and upheaval. Yet, what made this year truly remarkable was the shared nature of these experiences. Unlike previous times when struggles often felt isolated or individual, this year bound humanity together in a collective storm. Across the globe, people faced circumstances that forced them to adapt and reevaluate their lives. Economic uncertainty affected millions, shattering once stable livelihoods and pushing people to find creative solutions just to make ends meet. Health crises, both physical and mental, became a central part of daily life, reminding us of our fragility but also of our significance and significance. Just to make ends meet. Beyond personal hardships, societal challenges rose to the forefront. Questions of equity, justice, and sustainability became impossible to ignore. These challenges revealed a striking paradox. While the year isolated many of us physically, it also connected us in profound ways. We learned that the trials we faced as individuals mirrored those experienced by countless others. This collective experience fostered empathy and understanding, even across cultural and geographical divides. It reminded us that no matter how unique our personal circumstances might seem, we all share a common humanity. But universality didn't mean uniformity. The way people experienced and responded to the year's challenges varied widely. For some, the difficulties were a source of profound struggle, leaving scars that will take time to heal. For others, they became opportunities to reevaluate priorities, rediscover passions, or strengthen bonds with loved ones. What stands out most is the resilience people showed in the face of these trials. Communities came together to support one another, often in ways that hadn't been seen before. Neighbors checked in on each other, strangers offered help, and people leaned into their shared struggles to find hope. While the challenges were immense, they also highlighted the strength and adaptability inherent in the human spirit. This year tested us all, but it also reminded us of what connects us. Our ability to face adversity, learn from it, and move forward together. Resilience became the defining trait of this year, shaping how we endured and adapted to the relentless challenges thrown our way. It was not a year for the faint-hearted. It demanded that we dig deep within ourselves to find strength we often didn't realize we had. In the face of uncertainty, fear, and loss, resilience emerged not as an abstract idea, but as a necessity for survival. The trials we encountered tested every layer of our being: emotional, physical, mental, and even spiritual. For many, there were moments of doubt when giving up seemed easier than pressing forward. Yet resilience isn't about never falling. It's about finding the courage to rise after every setback. It's in those moments of standing back up, bruised but determined, that our true strength revealed itself. At its core, resilience is about adaptability. The world around us shifted rapidly, and we had to keep pace. Workplaces transformed overnight into digital spaces. Schools moved from classrooms to screens. Families found themselves redefining connection, sometimes across great distances. These shifts were neither easy nor perfect, but they demonstrated humanity's remarkable ability to adjust to even the most unforeseen circumstances. Resilience also showed up in small, quiet ways, acts of perseverance that didn't make headlines but mattered deeply in personal lives. It was the parent juggling remote work while homeschooling children. It was the healthcare worker going back to the front lines day after day despite the risks and exhaustion. It was the individual battling loneliness, yet finding ways to reach out, to seek connection, and to hold on to hope. What made this resilience extraordinary was its collective nature. People weren't just enduring for themselves, they were finding strength for others. Communities rallied to support those in need, whether through mutual aid networks, food drives, or simply offering a kind word to someone struggling. This collective resilience was a reminder that while hardship isolates, it can also unite us. Resilience isn't just about surviving, it's about finding purpose and meaning even in the midst of adversity. This year reminded us that while challenges may bend us, they don't have to break us. Resilience is the fire that keeps burning, even when the winds howl, illuminating a path forward no matter how dark the journey feels. This year forced us into a journey of profound self-discovery, revealing truths about ourselves that might have remained hidden in easier times. As challenges mounted, they didn't just test our circumstances, they tested our character. When routines were disrupted, when familiar comforts were stripped away, we were left to face ourselves in ways that were often uncomfortable but ultimately transformative. The hardships of this year acted like a mirror, reflecting who we truly are beneath the surface. For many, this meant confronting long-buried fears, insecurities, or doubts. Questions arose. Are we living a life aligned with our values? Are the goals we've been pursuing genuinely meaningful? Or are they simply inherited from societal expectations? When the usual distractions of life were removed, these questions became louder and harder to ignore. Amid this introspection, priorities were re-evaluated. What truly matters? Is it the relentless chase for career success? Or the deep connections we share with loved ones? For some, the answer lay in rediscovering relationships that had been taken for granted. For others, it was about reconnecting with passions or dreams that had been sidelined. This year offered a rare opportunity to strip away the noise and focus on what gives life purpose and fulfillment. But self-discovery wasn't always comfortable. Facing our own limitations, whether emotional, mental, or physical, was a humbling experience. The isolation many experienced brought feelings of loneliness, but also taught the value of self-reliance. The uncertainty of the world outside revealed how much strength resides within. People learned to trust their instincts, adapt to change, and find creative solutions to problems they'd never imagined facing. For many, this year also deepened their sense of gratitude. In the face of loss, even the simplest joys, health, time with family, the beauty of nature, became treasures to cherish. The struggles illuminated life's fragility, but also its profound beauty. Perhaps most importantly, this year reminded us of our capacity to grow. Every challenge we faced revealed a lesson, and every hardship carried within it the seed of transformation. While we may not have chosen the difficulties, they gave us the chance to become more resilient, more compassionate, and more authentic versions of ourselves. In the end, this year taught us that self-discovery is not a destination, but an ongoing journey, one that ultimately makes us stronger and more human. This year demonstrated that growth often emerges from resistance. Much like a muscle strengthens through strain, the challenges we faced weren't simply obstacles. They were opportunities to develop qualities we might not have fully tapped into otherwise. Growth through resistance became a recurring theme, reminding us that adversity, while painful, can also be transformative. Resistance came in many forms. It showed up as uncertainty about the future, forcing us to let go of our need for control and learn to embrace the unknown. It appeared as obstacles in our personal and professional lives, compelling us to adapt and innovate in ways we never had before. For some, it was the resistance of isolation, teaching the value of self-reliance and the importance of connection. For others, it was the resistance of loss, driving them to find meaning and purpose even in the face of grief. Through these struggles, we developed resilience, creativity, and inner strength. Consider the countless stories of people pivoting their careers, finding new ways to support their families, or reimagining how they could contribute to their communities. These were not easy feats, but they emerged from a willingness to confront and push through resistance. Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens when we are stretched, challenged, and made to confront the edges of our capabilities. This year also taught us that growth is not linear. There were moments of progress and moments of retreat, times when we felt strong and times when we felt broken. But each step, no matter how small or difficult, contributed to the larger process of becoming stronger and wiser. Growth through resistance doesn't mean we don't falter. It means we learned to rise after falling, each time a little more prepared to face the next challenge.